Hello and welcome to Outlook Filter. Today we are joined by SkyMet's founder and CEO, Mr. Jatin Singh. SkyMet is India's biggest private weather forecasting channel. We're glad to have you here, and we're talking about climate change right now. Let's start off with how 2015 has been recorded as the year with the highest temperature since temperature was recorded, right, which is about 130 years ago. So what is the reason and what is the effect of such a recording and such high temperatures?
You see, I mean, this is classic global warming and climate change.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this field itself is only 30 years old. The Earth is huge, so there has been such a big debate over a long period of time, but now I think it's fairly clear that one, the Earth is warming. Second, it is anthropogenic. It is because of what you and I have done and what our resource consumption pattern actually is. And a 1 degree Celsius on an average, means a lot of things. It means severe weather. It means longer droughts. It means sea level rising. So one is of course drought.
Right.
Then things like, say, though not directly attributable, but say Chennai floods. Then the evolution of new viruses. That means mosquitoes can, if it is warmer, then say dengue or anthrax or malaria have newer grounds, okay, or they can sustain themselves longer. So you will get many pests and viruses. For example, this whole, I think there's a white fly attack in cotton Punjab.
Yeah.
So you don't know what's coming. Now there's there's something called the Zika virus that is moving around, and it is mosquito. And if this winter is not going to be that severe, and then bugs start coming in late February, do you have a plan? So you need to see global warming as a very real threat to, and a much more tangible threat than say a bullet from Pakistan.
Right.
Okay, it affects you. No, really, you spend so much more to insulate yourself from an invasion, but thousands die, and you're looking at instability, which we've seen so many times. So you're looking at farmer distress, looking at food security. So a country that cannot feed itself, cannot secure itself.
Yeah. Coming to India specifically, we have witnessed, rainfalls which have not been very, very efficient, drought-like situations since the past 2 years, and balmy winters which have suddenly become slightly colder. So what is the reason for something like that? Is this pollution? And if it is pollution, how do you see this affecting more climate further?
It'll take a couple of years to figure out what is the feedback of pollution on this. But there's such a thing as Asian brown cloud.
Right.
It's been there, okay, and then the aerosol content, and there is a debate about, greenhouse gases warm the atmosphere, but they also cut the light.
Right.
So that is still being calibrated. But if you look at the full global warming theme, I think and how repeatedly it's coming. I think it's basically these greenhouse gases are warming what we all know is warming the atmosphere and the ocean, and that is basically playing havoc with the season. If you remember the winter of 2015 going into almost up till June, you had thunderstorms, and you had this whole farmer distress for the winter crop because you had all this unseasonal rainfall coming.
Definitely.
So that was the anomaly.
Okay. So what is causing this unusually warm, balmy winter and no rainfall in India right now?
See, now, I'm oversimplifying this, and because there are many correlations, but it seems that we need to look at the Pacific for our source of instability in our short and long term weather. Now, it has a baseline of 27 degrees Celsius. Once it crosses 27.5, it is called an El Nino event, which is currently now, right now I think it's up, it's on an average up by about 2.5 degrees Celsius. It's very warm. So when that happens, then convection patterns, when I mean convection, precipitation patterns across the world change. It means East Asia and India will have less precipitation, including West Africa. China and Japan, precipitation will increase. California, West Coast, precipitation is actually going to increase. Winter globally is going to be mild. It is not our winter. The American winter is mild. This year, retailers have lost a lot of money because nobody was buying winter clothing. Okay? When we correlate the El Nino with the Indian summer monsoon, ISMR, 60% of all Indian droughts are in El Nino years.
All right.
80% in years in which you've had below normal rainfall, that is less than 95%, are in El Nino or evolving El Nino years.
All right.
Okay. Now, between the year 1900 and the year 2000, there was one drought per decade. Between 2000 and 2015, I've had 5 droughts and almost 6 to 7 El Nino episodes. And if you look at long-term climate change impact, it says until 2020 and 30, somewhere the number of droughts is actually going to be high.
Okay.
And at some point of time, when global warming has reached its peak, it is actually going to reverse and flood events and high rainfall events are going to start.
So what is your prediction for next year?
It's too early. It's all out there. I would say there's a 50-50. See, the El Nino episode is supposed to fade.
All right.
Unfortunately, it's not fading fast enough. But these things, the El Nino predictions are, you can predict up to 6 months, but they're only good for about 3.
Okay.
You need to take a call on in March. If your El Nino is coming down, okay, from 2.4, even if it is above 27.5, but if it is coming out at reasonable rate from into June,
Right.
you stand a good chance of actually putting through.
Okay.
If it is sustaining, you still stand a good chance, but then it's touch and go. It could be this way or that. See, back-to-back droughts, 3 droughts in a row are rare. Has happened once in history.
Right.
Okay, so I would hold my cards.
All right.
You know.
Okay, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us.